Hey guys, Sfrums here from chess.com, and I'm just going to be playing a 5-minute game. I like to play knight f3 on the first move, and I'll transpose with e4 to the Philidor defense. Um, with now d4 trying to break open the center. Usually I fianchetto early, but if he's going to give me all of this space, um, I'll take it. I just get my knight to c3 to guard e4, and he's now fianchettoing on the king side. So I have a few different ideas. I could go for a bishop c4 at some point and aim at f7, or I could go bishop e2, or I might play g3 and bishop g2. Those are usually the types of positions I like. Um, I think I will go with that in this position. And maybe h3, bishop e3, castles. Something like that. I don't know if I absolutely need h3 right there, but I'd like to play bishop e3, queen d2 pretty soon. And I watch a lot of games by like people like King's Crusher and Chess Network, and I know they might castle queenside in this type of situation. They do really dynamic types of decisions. Now I'm not worried about b5 actually because of knight c6, but should I be worried about c5 and then like knight e2 then b5? Maybe. Maybe. If b6, knight c6 still. I expect something like c5 here, but his backwards d6 pawn might really cost him later. So I'm about 1770 right now. I used to be a lot higher rated. And I used to play on ICC, where I feel the competition is actually a little stronger. And but recently I've been listening to a lot of music while I've been playing, and also just not playing quite as well. So I'm hoping to get more into chess lately. I was teaching kids for a while, for a few years on and off, and then for like 6 months straight. But I gave that up to do other stuff. F4 I think holds down e5 and gets me a fairly nice center. I may be moving my queen to f3. And I'm aware knight c5 is coming in. I think that's why I was actually going to play. I was actually going to play knight b3. I think I probably should have, because now after knight c5, it looks like something like e5. I might have to be in little sacrificial here. Something like e5 takes and then move my knight back to f3 maybe. With the bishop on his c5 knight after knight f3, and then also kind of getting some pressure on the e5 pawn. I'm offering a queen trade, but I'm actually fine with it. My bishop on g2 is pretty nice, hitting b7, and it's really guarded, but maybe later I'll be able to take it. I think I'll bring my rook on a1 to d1 because my knight on c3 is guarding this pawn, and his knight is being put to the test right away. So I expect to see his knight go back here. Actually, what he did is probably a slightly better move. But after knight g5, I have 3 attackers on this e4 square, and his knight is hit. Or I could just take it right now, and then after his pawn takes, bishop takes, but then bishop h3 is really annoying. So I think I'm going to do this. Knight e6, how about knight e4 after that? And his bishop might actually get to b2 here. Or I will just take c5, and then when he takes, I'll double my pawns, but kind of annoy his knight a little. How about that? Maybe I'll get some pressure on f7, and maybe I'll just take e4. Now knight f6 is an idea I'm having here. After bishop b2, I could also try to lock his bishop out with c3, but maybe g4 here too. What about g4? g4, then c3, threatening knight f6. And g4 also stops bishop at f5 right away. So I like g4 here. And his knight can't come to g3, f4, or f6 because I take it in all of those situations. Okay, so his knight goes back to g7, and I'm down a bit of time, but I think I'm doing well positionally. So what about c3, with threats of like rook b1, and his bishop is locked out of the game, and also threats of knight f6. I think he might actually sacrifice here, but his back rank will be pretty bad if he does sacrifice. So I think I have a nice position. His bishop on c8 is just really trapped and blocking in his rook on b8. This seems really good for me. If I wanted to just immediately take something, I could take b7, and now bishop takes, he loses his rook, but rook takes, he loses his bishop. Or I could play rook takes f7, keeping the pressure on down there. Knight e6 is something I'm watching, so rook f7 also stops knight e6 due to this pin. If he plays king g8, probably just bishop g6. And if he does nothing, probably h4, h5. His rook has no squares. And his bishop moves, I take his rook. So he looks like he's sacrificing this bishop. Yeah. So I hope you guys liked that game. I plan on posting more now. And thanks for watching. Alright, bye.